Hi boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and Gorilla fans all over the world. My name's Robbo and this is Gorilla TV. And tonight on Gorilla Talk we have the absolute pleasure of sitting down and having a chat with one of the absolute greats of the game, the legend himself, the one and only Kevin Sheedy. Kevin, welcome to Gorilla Talk.
Lovely to have me in the show, and of course, cheerio to all the people who are listening out there.
Thank you very much, Clev. Absolute pleasure to have you here at WILSTON GRANGE.
Yes.
You've got the President's Lunch tomorrow and you're going to be addressing our Marcelin boys before they run out today. Now, Kevin...
Now, hold on. Who do you barrack for?
Who do I barrack for? I'm one-eyed Richmond supporter.
It's okay.
My oldest son is named Tiger.
Well, that's going a bit far.
Well, back in the day, Kev, as
That's
you know,
okay.
we
I've
were...
got no problem with it, but
We were struggling, so I thought I'd try and make my own team.
Well, I've won 3 premierships since I was struggling.
Now, Kevin, I'm going to just blow your ties up a little bit before we start.
Don't go too far.
I won't. Now, Kevin, you played over 250 games for the Tigers. You won 3 premierships. You won a BNF in 76. You captained the club in 78. You also named in the Richmond Team of the Century. You then went on to coach the Mighty Bombers for 27 seasons, winning 4 premierships and named in the Essendon Team of the Century. After that, you took the keys to Greater Western Sydney and led them in their inaugural season in 2012. Now, the AFL world then decided, you know what, this guy's pretty good at what he does. We might make him a legend in the Australian Football Hall of Fame. Not a bad resume, Kev.
Well, I was a bit nervous about being in the AFL Hall of Fame because half of them are dead. So
Yeah.
I thought I'll take my time accepting that position, but it's not the greatest one on the list to get into because when as you get older, you know where you're going, sort of heavens above. But look, I was excited about being in the Hall of Fame. It was 2018, which is quite a while back now, but. Yeah, some of those people in the Hall of Fame are just unbelievably great players, But I suppose my consistency of over 1,000 games has probably got me in there and a few things I did.
Well, Kevin, you're certainly up in the top echelon of those blokes. I'm talking the Ron Barassis, the Tom Hafeys. Your name certainly is right there. Now, Kevin, I actually want to go back a bit before all of that. On this show, we ask guests to talk about a little bit about their family and where they grew up. Can you tell us a little bit about your family and where you grew up?
I grew up in South Yarra in Melbourne, in Chapel Street, which is in the late 40s and early 50s. Basically around about 8, 9 years of age for the 56 Olympics. No one had TV in those days and no one had a telephone or a car. So those early days were really grooming to wonder what you could do with your life and that. The Melbourne Football Club was incredibly successful. And only yesterday I interviewed the captain, Hasselman, who was the last captain of Norm Smith's reign.
Wow.
It was a fantastic interview. I'm doing a coach's book for not this Christmas, but probably next Christmas. It'll be a huge book on...
There you go, Bosco. You'll have to...
on the coaching of... the first coach ever. It was a guy called Worrell. It was about 1907 or 8. And he was the first coach ever in Australian football. And of course, you roll through the era. And of course, Melbourne had the early great coaches, Checker Hughes and Norm Smith. So with that interview there, I want to build onto that and to where we are now, sort of thing. We're one of the greatest stories in Australian football history and probably any history of any sport when Chris Fagan won the premiership at Brisbane last year, which is an amazing story.
Absolutely, mate. Now, you've got a big family? Brothers, sisters?
I'm one of 7 and I have 4 children myself with 5 grandchildren.
Yep. And were you in the middle or the youngest?
I'm third cap down the rank. Yeah.
Third cap down the rank?
Older brother and sister and they're fantastic for our family.
What was a young Kevin like? Were you the shy, quiet type, mate?
I never said boo till about 20.
Okay, yeah.
When I went in the army.
I wouldn't have picked that. I would have thought you were a bit more mischievous and adventurous.
No, I was... just an observer about what was happening in my life. I played in the VFA, which was fantastic for me. The VFA is where the game started, and then crossed over into the VFL when there's a breakaway.
I'm going to get to Prahran because that's where my great uncle actually played for Prahran. Yeah. Ended up playing 1 game for Collingwood.
Okay.
And
great club.
Great club for 2 Blues. Now, Kevin, who were your heroes growing up? Who did you look up to? Was there any posters on the bedroom walls, mate? back in the day?
Mine were mainly Australian sporting stars, you know, really. Growing up, well, Richie Beno was one of my favourites.
Yep.
I'm a leg spin bowler once upon a time. Loved the Essendon team, so I knew every player and every number. I knew a lot about the club before I ever got there 14 years later after I went to Richmond. So, and I probably think that, well, Bluey Shelton was one of my Essendon favourites. He wore number 10, so I wore number 10 at Richmond.
Oh, okay, yeah, didn't know that.
Palais and these sort of guys. Any number 10 I liked, you know, sort of
Yep.
thing. So,
Superstitious?
yeah,
Number 10?
no, just 10. It's a nice round number, that'll do me. And no, I think in the end, Jack Clark, number 1. As I said, I could nearly know every Essendon player. I didn't know much about Richmond, who I ended up playing for. I knew more about Melbourne because I thought I was going to play at Melbourne because I lived in their zone, but they probably had such a great team. They didn't need a little scoundrel like me coming out of the back box of their zone. So
You actually went to Melbourne and trained, didn't you?
I did. Well, they were training camps at school. So kids like at school, well, they picked the best 3 players out of every secondary school.
Yep.
Took them down to Melbourne, and we trained down in the school holidays in sort of May and that was a really great experience. I mean, players like Ron Brusty, we talked to, Hassan, who I spoke to yesterday, Norm Smith would talk to, which is quite incredible. You got 40 or 50 kids there, and we're all running out on the MCG, which is pretty fantastic. In 1962,
wow.
Yeah, they won the premierships around that period. I mean, 62, 60 they won a premiership, 61 Hawthorn, 63 Geelong, 64 Melbourne, their last premiership before they won one about 8 years ago.
I reckon there'd be a lot of Melbourne supporters sitting there shaking their head and they're thinking, we could have
Kevin
Sheedy.
They could have Kevin Bartlett. He's a better player than me.
Oh, different type of player. I don't think Kevin would have ventured down the back line too often.
No. Well, I handballed, he didn't, but that's okay.
Well, Kevin and I were very similar. Small forwards that never handballed, mate. Now, you attended De La Salle College. Did I get that right? In Malvern?
Yeah, De La Salle.
Firstly, did you enjoy school, mate? And did you have any idea, I know you became a plumber, but did you have any idea what you wanted to do when you finished school?
Or was no, Dad had died at that period, and I had to you hadn't run on your own, so Mum said, you better get to a trade school, and I'm an outdoors person, not an indoors person, so you make that decision somewhere around middle teens.
That must have been hard for you at the time with Dad.
It was hard on my mother. She was lifting 7 kids at 42 years of age.
I forgot about that, 7 kids.
So, look, it was one of those things that unexpected, and of course, and you work out by meeting people in sport, like Prahran Footy Club and tradespeople and that. So you really got to know a lot of wonderful people that sort of help you through the highways and byways.
Yeah. Now, mate, now in 1963 you joined the Prahran Football Club. The good thing about you, Kevin, is there's a lot of research, mate, I can do. As in the under-19s. And then the following year, they obviously recognised your talent and you made your debut for this Prahran senior team, the Two Blues. Do you remember that day and playing your first game for Prahran?
I remember nearly everything. I do. I was at Northcote in Westgarth Street. My coach was Dennis Jones, who was a premiership centre half back at Melbourne, believe it or not.
Okay.
And, so he gave me the opportunity to play my first ever game at 16. And at Westgarth were green and gold. And Bill Laurie was the champion cricketer at Northcote.
Bill Laurie?
Bill Laurie,
yep.
Yeah. So Northcote was a pretty famous area for sportsmen in those days. And so I got off to that start. The next game was against Camberwell, and we went on from there, played 50 games, and then enjoyed that. And we played in the premiership in 1966.
Yeah.
And my ruckman that year was Graham McMahon, who ended up president of the 2000 Essendon premiership side. And I was a centre man.
I actually watched the Mike Sheen interview last night, and I remember you saying that Graham McMahon was the best president that you'd ever...
Oh, he and Ron Evans were great presidents.
Yeah. And we tried to get you back to Richmond. I think it was Leon Daphne maybe at the time we tried to get you back to Richmond.
Yeah, that was true. But
I was praying for you to come back, Kevin, because at the time, I think it was the late 90s, they had made a big run for you.
99.
I was very desperate. But you probably made the smart move to stay with Essendon, considering they won the premiership in a couple of years, mate.
The next year.
one of the greatest Bomber teams.
Well, we got beaten by a kick in one match against the Bulldogs. It was 2000, and we had a very good group of young people that really strived hard to be successful, and most of them have been successful after their footy too, which is really pleasing. And the rest is history, because I've got that team jumper up here. We'll auction that off tomorrow, or whenever it's going to be. But
Bosco, you might have to clear your bank balance and have a go.
It's one of those things where you have a Fletcher who plays 400 games at fullback, and then you've got Lloyd who kicks 926 goals at full forward, and to have them coming through at the same time is quite incredible, with guys like Hurd and McCurry and those sort of players that are superstar players, you know. And at that period we got John Barnes after he got sacked at Geelong by Bomber Thompson.
He used to rib you.
We got him back.
He used to rib you a bit about.
He ribs everybody.
I
Don't pick up an email from John Barnes, I can tell you.
But then you got him a premiership, Kevin. So I think you made it up to him, mate. What do you think? Well, actually, I want to speak about that loss to the Bulldogs. Do you think that was an important loss for you guys to have in terms of you going on and winning the premiership?
I thought so. Yeah, it was good. It was good to see our team handle a loss, because we hadn't lost many in the 99, and we were very unlucky then, because we never had Hurd, Lucas and Jason Johnson, who I was out at the footy with last night in Melbourne. They hardly played a game in 99. So when I got approached by Leon Daphne and the Richmond Footy Club, I knew I had the three best players coming back for 2000. And that's probably the major reason why I stayed, because we were going to be hard to beat in 2000 when I get those three boys back. And we were fantastic. The boys were incredible.
Incredible. And really that game, it was over early. There was no way.
Well, we lost 99 by a kick. We lost 2 preliminary finals by a kick.
And you almost played as well in that season, I thought, Kevin, until Carlton sort of picked you in that pre.
Yeah, well, Kudafidi just jumped out of the ground on us in the last quarter.
Incredible.
A magnificent game to just override us for that last sort of 15-20 minutes there.
Yeah. Now, Kevin, we all know you're an incredible footballer for the Mighty Tigers, and arguably one of the greatest coaches in the history of our game, possibly the greatest coach ever at Essendon, which I've seen you named as the coach in the team of the century at Essendon. But what I love about you, Kevin, and what people that I've spoken to about you and respect you so much, is you really think outside the box. You're a great innovator, and you really connect with people, which I think is your biggest strength. The Anzac Day clash and the dream time at the G. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And geez, you made an incredible contribution to sport. You must sit back and have a glass of red and think and feel pretty proud about what you've done for the game, Kev.
I actually moved on and trying to work on the next one, and I want to have an All-Australian game soon now. That means you play for All-Australian selection.
Yeah.
And put that up against...
Who would we play against?
Well, you don't, yeah. You actually put last year's All-Australian team, play the players that never got selected.
Yeah.
For All-Australian selection this year.
Okay, yep.
So you've got the 50 best players in AFL history playing against each other, which I've never seen before.
That'd be fantastic.
It would.
Would you love to see State of Origin back?
I think Victoria would win every game. So I don't think that's a real smart thing to do. I'd rather play All-Australian than state.
Yeah.
See, in football, what happens is you can't pick your best team, because you're not selected in the test team where you pick the best 11. We only get our players together after every 18th pick in the draft or a trade deal. So you never actually really get to see the best play against the best.
Yeah.
You see the best teams of that year play against each other, but you never see the best play the best. Not like Australia versus England or... So when you want the best players on the paddock for a game, try it. You might like it.
Yeah.
Now, who's going to be the ruck? Pick the 5 best ruckmen. Where's Bontempelli? He's going to be up against who? Someone that didn't get picked that would love to beat him.
So you're thinking outside the box. I love it, Kev. You're still thinking outside the box.
Well, I live outside.
Mate,
Cheers, it's good thinking.
it is. Now, Kevin, I wasn't going to talk too much about the Essendon players, but I'm going to go through just some mids, some backs and forwards, and I just want you to pick
I've
one.
got a show tomorrow.
It's nearly done. So we got 3 players, Kev, in the back line. I've got Dustin Fletcher, Gavin Wanganeen, and Mark Harvey. You've got one pick. Who would you choose?
Well, Wanganeen's the best player.
Yep.
The best fullback in my time has been Fletcher. No one's played 400 games. He's the only backline player in the history of the game who's played 400. And Mark Harvey's one of the best commandos and should have been in that famous movie, The Gladiators. So,
Or maybe Rambo would have been good in that too.
whatever, any of those picks. But,
And in the midfield, so you'd take all of them, you're not going to choose your favourite. In the midfield, I'm going James Sheedy, Jason Johnson, and who's the other one I had in mind? I had his name, it just escapes me, Bosco. Great midfielder. Tony Elshaw. There you go.
you just pull that out of your brain.
I went back to 19. Early days, I was looking at some stuff today.
No, I would think that the midfield was never a worry because I used to play Watson and Hurd in there at times too. So it's very hard to pick the best centreman, if you want to call it the old day centreman.
The old day centre, yeah.
So the rotations go through the midfield now that I don't think, well, Welshaw wouldn't be in my thoughts. He was a rover only, but a good rover and a beautiful kick and helped us win the premiership. We had 9 ruckmen when I was at first went to Essendon, 9 ruckmen, and I had no rovers much at all. So we had to do all that sort of thing. So the city was probably the best ball gatherer, but for the minute moments that we had a guy called Leon Baker, he was an extremely talented person.
Yeah.
He didn't play 100 games, but he helped me win premierships.
And played a lot forward for you guys too.
Well, only when he got tired, he moved himself forward.
Yeah.
And I let him.
Yeah.
He
So you had a bit of free licence to do that.
Yeah, well, you give your great players a bit of licence.
All right, I'll go to the forward line now, and then I've got one question to go, Kev. James Hurd, Paul Salmon, or Matthew Lloyd?
Well, Lloyd kicked 926 goals.
It's not bad.
So I'm putting him in the forward. If you want to get goals, we put him in the forward line. 926 goals.
Yep.
And he started his career like Dustin, very young, 16, 17. So I can't defend those two. I would probably have Fletcher, Harvey. I'll probably put Hurd in the centre. I'd have Roger Merritt centre half forward and Lloyd full forward.
Yeah.
That's my goal to goal line.
That's your goal to goal. It's not about goal to goal line, let's face it. Mate, what do you think is the most important thing when it comes to coaching and having this success? What do you think the most important thing with coaching is?
Common sense and intelligence, if you can get it right.
Yeah. So no Martians?
No, we had fun with the Martians.
We did.
But that's just another bypass of the game in general. But if you've got common sense, and I think the other thing is you've got to plan ahead. So we moved from VFL into AFL and won a premiership within 3 years in 1993 with a bunch of kids.
Yep, the Baby Bombers, I remember that.
So we had a few of the Baby Bomber teams, but you got to be ahead of, like after being beaten by Collingwood in 1990 and Danaher and Madden retire, we're going to get the next team to win a premiership, and we got up and we won that against Carlton by 8 goals.
Yep.
You know, in that final series, we played 4 finals at an average of 80,000 at each game. There's 320,000 people come and saw a bunch of kids play in 1 month, which is highly exciting for them and the club, because nothing worse than letting Collingwood win their first premiership since 1960.
Yes.
So I celebrated with 93, not letting Carlton win.
That's the best thing ever, mate. And they're struggling, the poor Blues now, mate. Did you enjoy your time at GWS, although it was only short?
Yeah, well, I was...
I thought you were the perfect man for the job too.
I was at the game. Well, they shouldn't appoint anybody to new clubs that aren't experienced. And what happened with Gold Coast, they probably appointed Guy McKenna, who'd never coached a head coaching position.
Yeah.
So I think the AFL's learnt that, and I think in the end wasn't long after that they put Rodney there, I think. And then Robert Walls earlier, in the previous era when they started the Bears. And that was a mistake because they called them the Brisbane Bears on the Gold Coast. Now I can't work that one out personally, but we do.
Brisbane do a lot of things backwards, Kevin. I'm Victorian.
No, but that was an AFL decision, not a Brisbane decision. But you know, that was Christopher Skase's hello to football.
They got
Dr. Edelson in Sydney, so they didn't make great decisions in the Swans with Edelson or Skates. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to learn, and they did learn from that when the Giants come on.
And they've got their man now in Hardwick, one of your boys.
Oh well, I think Kingsley's very good too. I think he's a very good coach.
Yeah.
He's an ex-bomber. They're both ex-bombers. Adam Kingsley. We kept. It's amazing when you bring up these two right now who are very, very good coaches. We actually had Adam Kingsley in our reserves team.
Yeah.
And under 19s. And when they shut down the under 19s,
He went to Port Adelaide.
yeah.
And the rest is history.
And we got Hardwick from North.
Do you see a lot of similarities in Kingsley with the way you
Kingsley?
coach? Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe so. I think Hardwick and Kingsley are pretty hard-nosed, sort of fierce coaching, competitive beasts. And you have to have that. It's all right to be nice, but behind closed doors, I can tell you now that there'll be a few rock and rolls meetings there trying to be successful in this competition. I mean, it's grown from 12 to 18 clubs.
Yeah.
So we've spread it out, you know, like an extra 6 clubs at 40 players is 200, just say 40, or there's 240 players that now have opportunities for kids in Australia to get a game in AFL. Well, I mean, that's the basketball league of Australia.
Yeah.
So where AFL's great is we can cater for any person, Zorko, or the Texan from Collingwood.
Yep.
In the
Mason Cox, yep.
Or boys from Africa, or Indigenous people.
Yep.
So we cater for anywhere and anyone at any height. And the big difference in our game, and the difficulty of it, is obviously the kicking skills and the running with the ball. But most coaches know where, particularly rugby and rugby leaders, you know where the others are. Gridiron, they're ahead of you.
Yeah.
Rugby, they're ahead of you, and NRL, they're ahead of you. In our game, you have no idea where they're coming from.
Where it's coming from. Now, Kevin, I'm going to finish with this, mate. Now, finally...
It's been a very long interview, by the way.
Well, you like to talk about football, which I'm going to let you go.
No, thank you so much.
Now, Kevin, outside of footy, what do you do to relax and unwind? Are you a fisherman or a camper?
No,
or a good book?
I'm a gardener.
You're a gardener?
I'm a gardener, yeah. I grew up in the Botanic Gardens in Melbourne.
Nice spot.
Yeah, but also I think it's Melbourne's. There's 2 great properties in Melbourne, the MCG and the Botanic Gardens.
Yep.
They're the best.
You just go between those two?
Exactly. I live in South Area. So they're the best. Other than that, I write books. Yeah. I've written 14 books and I'm writing one right now and coaching you. And it'll be a beautiful book. We signed up to do it.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for being on Gorilla Talk. No one goes home empty-handed, especially the great man Kevin Sheedy. This is just a shirt. It's a WILSTON GRANGE.
It's a gorilla
Shirt.
I'm going to scare my grandkids. They're little 4 and 5. They're 5, and that'll frighten that. Oh, where's a big gorilla?
Well, there's no big gorilla, but we can
I'll get
organise
one printed.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Thank you very much for your time, mate. I really appreciate it, and all the best.
Wow.
Thanks.
1945.
Yes.
Wartime.
The
gorilla was let out of the cage at wartime.
Do you know Ron Barassi? Actually, I forgot to talk about that, but 1979, you actually coached in Queensland.
I did. I did.
And you coached a couple of our players here.
6 weeks I did.
Sid Guilford?
Yeah, gee whiz.
You said he was one of the best trainers, apparently.
Yeah. I'd come up here for 6 weeks. I left, just retired around Richmond at that period, and I had time off, and I was a full-time development officer going around Australia. And the president of the Queensland Football League, I think it was Mr. Collins, asked me to come up and see if I could coach the state side because they've been belted by Tasmania not state of origin. And at the end of the year, they were going to a carnival in Perth with 10 Victorian VFL players going back into the Tasmanian team. And they were just extremely worried about getting belted badly, you know, and they might have been beaten by 13 goals, right? This time they might be beaten by 25. But great effort. The players lost the game by 5. It was one of the great performances, I think, of Queensland. I think maybe Peter Hudson might have kicked 5.
Well, he's a pretty handy player, wasn't
He's a great player. He's amazing story. He kicked 150 goals and never won Hawthorn's best and fairest. So you wonder what selectors and coaches do.
Well, and Kevin Bartlett never won a Brownlow, mate. That doesn't make any sense to me either.
Not did Lee Matthews.
Who I think is the greatest player ever to play the game.
In VFL. Wayne Carey thinks he is in the AFL. It's a great debate.
Yes, it is. Well, they play different positions, but for a midfielder to go forward and kick at times 8 or 9 goals, which Lee Matthews did, not many were doing that.
No, they were. He was a great player. Don't worry about that.
Now, I know we've got to get you down because apparently you're
what am I doing
talking
now?
to Mark.
I thought this was it.
You thought this was it? You're going back to your hotel?
Cheers, everybody. Love you.